What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Thomas Beaver, servant leader, senior pastor of the Star Church, based in the beautiful and magic city of Birmingham, Alabama, also in Pale City and Silicaga. Welcome to another episode of Unconventional Conversations. I'm excited about the conversation on tonight. I want you to do me a favor. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel, number one. Every time that you subscribe to it, you get the content automatically as we upload it. And then I want you to like and comment. When you like and comment, I get a chance to hear your feedback and what you think. But it also does something to the algorithms. In the same way that I popped up on your page, I'm able to pop up on other people's feed and other people's page as well. And then I want you to make sure that you share this. I want you to click that share link on this YouTube page. When you do that, your text message or your email icon is going to pop up, and you'll be able to share it, hopefully with a minimum of 5 people in your contacts. I really believe that if this is a blessing to your life, it's going to be a blessing to the lives of all of the people inside of your circle. So how did this start? Unconventional Conversations started in the summer of 2022. We did a series at the start entitled Subjects That Sizzle. We tackled all of the hot button topics inside of the world that affect Christians, and we taught it from a biblical standpoint in order to teach our congregation and all of those who listen what the word says about certain things, because we did not want to form our belief system from the world. We wanted to form it from the word. Unconventional Conversations is a spinoff of Subjects That Sizzle. Instead of us talking to Christians about hot button topics and what the word of God says about it, I'm actually talking to people, some Christian, some non-Christian, who were actually in these hot button topics once upon a time, and some of them may even still be in them. I'm super duper excited to have our guest with us on tonight. He's my childhood friend, and God's doing an amazing work inside of his life. None other than Mr. Trey Emmanuel Cheney. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing good. You good?
I'm awesome. God is good.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. So listen, you just literally broke ground on a $1.5 million gym.
Yes, sir.
I had the opportunity to be at the groundbreaking ceremony. Can you describe what was literally going through your head, what you were feeling inside of your body in that moment?
I was still kind of awe. It's still kind of surreal. It's still kind of unbelievable, just to know how God moves and how God operates. It still hadn't really hit me yet. It's still just trees sitting on it right now. We got a sign out there that says coming soon. I pass by it every day on the way to our current gym. But just to know where I've come from my time in prison to, 4 years later, here we are building this state-of-the-art gym. Is just still kind of surreal.
So many people don't know that you had a journey from prison to the pulpit to a booming for-profit LLC.
Yes, sir.
You bought this property. How much did you buy it for?
We bought the property for $350,000.
$350,000, yes. And you actually bought it from a church.
Yes, sir.
And you bought it in an area of town on the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama, that is literally booming. So you bought the property, and months after you bought the property, you bought it for $350,000. How much is it worth now?
The property was worth, just 4 months later, $680,000.
Okay, so you bought it for $350,000. 4 months later, it was worth $650,000.
Yes,
that is the value of real estate.
That's real estate for you.
That's real estate. Yeah. It's an appreciating asset instead of a depreciating asset. Right. Tell me, what gave you the mindset not to go out and buy a car, but instead of you buying a car, you bought some dirt?
First of all, I had already bought a car, but I knew the way my gym was set up that we were having growing pains. We were just really running out of room. The way my gym is set up, we train everyone from kids in sports all the way up to the professional level. It's just so funny. I was just on the phone with one of our players that's playing in the semi-baseball league that's about to come back home, and he's going to start doing some training for us. But I just knew we was growing out of this place, and I knew I did not want to go and lease anymore. I was looking for something that I could just buy, a building that I could buy, but everything that I wanted to buy was not in the city that I wanted to be in. And so I have some really great friends. They just gave me the idea. They said, why don't you just build it from the ground up?
Man, and that's exactly what you're doing. So you broke ground. Anytime you break ground on something, that means that you're getting ready to build. But before you got to the point to where you could actually break ground, you bought the land, but you almost gave up.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that journey.
So in the months, at the end of the year, most gyms memberships start kind of going down. You see less people coming to the gym, less people are paying gyms. A lot of people start canceling their memberships just because it's the end of the year and they need the money to be able to go to the holidays and do things for the holidays. Or maybe they're just not using, they're just saying, hey, I need some more money, so I'm going to cancel this membership. And not only that, what really happened, our landlord sold the property to a new landlord.
So the landlord of the gym that you're renting in right now before you build the one that you will own from the ground up actually sold the property that you're in right now to somebody else.
They did.
Okay, keep going.
So we bought the land. So now I have a note on the land. And 2 months later, we got a new landlord, and my lease was up.
Oh, Lord.
And they were like, are you going to sign a new 3-year lease? And I was like, there's no way I'm about to sign a new 3-year lease because I bought land to build a gym. Can I go month to month? Landlords don't like to hear that. And so they came back with an astronomical number for a lease that did match what I'm also paying on the note.
So you can go month to month, but you're going to pay for it.
You're going to pay for it. Definitely pay for it in Irondale, where they're building all this other stuff at. And the landlords that bought this new place know that. That's the reason why they bought the place that they're at.
Yeah. So your mom is an ordained evangelist. Your dad is an ordained deacon inside of the church. You're born and raised inside of the church. I'm literally sitting at the groundbreaking ceremony. One of the moments that touched me the most is when you came up to speak at the end and you actually started crying. You had your shades on. Couldn't nobody see you crying, but everybody knew that you and God were having a moment at that particular moment in time. And you stated that the last time you saw your parents actually speak together was right before you were sentenced to go to prison.
Correct.
So to see them speaking together when you were sentenced to go to prison, juxtaposed to years later, now they're speaking together on the platform when you're literally breaking ground on a new gym. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like I was holding my own all the way into that moment. I'll never forget when you go to your sentencing, to a sentencing hearing, you get character witnesses, people to speak on your behalf. And I was like, who better speak on my behalf than my mother and father? I've had some other people, you get 5, but those were the ones that spoke. And I'll never forget signing a plea deal to do 2 years for my crimes and actually going into the courtroom, and the judge actually took my crime level up points. So in federal prison, you're on a scale, point scale, and the more points you have on that scale, the more time you do. So my points was very low when I started, but because of the judge and what he has the discretion to do whatever he wants, he actually jacks my point up while I'm in there. And so I'll never forget what he told my parents. He told my parents I wasn't fit to be in society.
Wow. A judge said to your parents, after your parents spoke on your behalf, it doesn't matter what y'all say.
He ain't fit.
This man right here is not fit to be in society. So you went in, you took a plea deal, expecting to get 2 years.
24 months.
Expecting to get 24 months, but instead of you getting 2 years, you got sentenced to
70 months.
How many years is that?
A little over 6, 7, 60 months is 5 years. 72 months would have made it 6 years. So, well, that's what we was at.
What were you feeling on the inside?
It didn't really hit me, but I remember my dad speaking, and he pleaded to the judge. And I always said to myself, I'll never put myself in a position to put my fate or anyone, my family member's fate, in the hands of someone else. And so to see my father speak on my behalf and say, Judge, this is my seed, give him some mercy, and the judge say no, he ain't fit to be in society. That was a heartbreaker for me.
So when man says no, God says yes, because here it is, years before he says you're not fit to be in society. And the same person who, according to the judge, is not fit to be in society is the same person who literally is a successful business owner who broke ground on a $1.5 million gym. I can tell you feel it right now.
Yeah, I do. Definitely.
I see it in your eyes.
Yeah, it was surreal. And to go back to your question, to hear my dad, my father say the things that he said at the groundbreaking, and hear my mother say that what they said at the groundbreaking, just being proud of what I've done since I come home, was just like, it was everything to me, because that's the one thing I told them when they picked me up on February in 2018, when I got out of prison, was you'll never, ever have to be in that position again, and everything I do for the rest of my life is to make y'all proud.
Wow. And you stuck by it.
Stuck by it. Still sticking to it.
Still sticking to it. Man, that's a beautiful thing. So you're not typical. Most of the time when young men go to prison, the stigma is that they come from a single-parent household, father wasn't in their life, parents divorced, or were never married in the first place.
Right.
That was not the case with you.
Not at all.
You came from a loving home, loving family, parents married, God-fearing, raised you in the church. What led you down the path you went?
There's a verse in the Bible say that the love of money, because people mess that up sometimes. Sometimes people say money, but it's the love of money. It's the root of all evil, and that is definitely what it was for me. I didn't care how to get it. I didn't care how to go make it. As long as I could make it, I did it. Now, I went to prison for a crime, but that's not all the crimes I was doing. I had everything from doing crimes in the street to doing crimes in heat to doing crimes in the corporate America to doing crimes in everything that I did. If it sold and it made a certain amount of money, I did it until it didn't make money no more. That was my mindset. I'm going to go get it. That's always, my dad had this whole song that he made me and my cousin learn about working at a very young age. Although I knew I could get money, I just didn't care how to get it. And so that love of money was the catalyst for my crimes.
Yeah. So it's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money.
Right.
That's the root of all evil.
Right.
So going to get that money any kind of way.
Any kind of way.
Is what led you down that road.
Correct.
Now, you were a college football star.
Yeah.
You played football at UAB. You had aspirations of going to the NFL.
Correct.
Why didn't that work?
I had a knee injury my senior year, and right before the end of the year, I had to have a knee surgery. And when you're unable to do the actual pro day at the end of the season, that's like the Super Bowl for an athlete coming from college to go on to the next level. So I couldn't do it because I had that knee surgery. And so when all the other players on my team was doing it, I wasn't able. What's making it so crazy is that two of the running backs that I was with actually went to the NFL, and I didn't because of that knee surgery. I didn't even get a chance. And so after that, I just started working, and doing whatever I could do to get money.
So was there a level of depression, a level of sadness, be it that you had a dream that was not materialized?
It definitely was that. And then not only that, you got to think I was graduating, so I no longer was on scholarship getting a check from the school. And so basically when you're a college athlete, especially a full scholarship, they basically take care of you. Now you got to put the work in, work out all the stuff, but I didn't owe anybody anything. So when I graduated, it was like, okay, now I'm no longer in school. What now? How do I get money now? At least the kind of money that I was making when I was in school.
So you actually got a degree. What was your degree in?
Exercise science and fitness leadership.
Exercise science and fitness leadership. Mm-hmm. So you graduate from school, you start working. What do you start working?
I started working. I was still working at the YMCA for the first year, and then I ended up getting a job for the Social Security Administration.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Got it. All right, so you at the Social Security Administration. Is that at the point where you got in trouble to go to prison?
It is, although I was there for a little while, and my manager just used to always tell me, you're just too smart for this. Like, you're too brilliant for this. I used to literally finish my job in like 2 hours and then start doing other people's job. in the place to where it led me to go get trained to be what you call a site land coordinator for the Social Security Administration. And what they do is they basically make software, fix the software, fix computers, put in new data, all of these things in the computer systems for the government. And so I trained for that for about 8 months, and then I started working in that arena.
Got it. So that's interesting that you say that. She said you're too smart for this.
Right.
I have a theory that when people act out, it's not because they're bad, it's because they're bored.
Definitely.
Do you think there's an element of, I'm so bored, I need to find something to do with myself, and that's the reason that I go down this road?
Well, it's definitely that. I got so bored, I started reaching. And so when I started reaching for things that made me more money. And it didn't, like I said, it didn't matter if it was illegal or legal. I just wanted to get to the money, because at that time, you got to think, coming from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, when you're riding down University and you got a billboard and you got banners with your name on it running in football, versus to now you're nobody. In my eyes, now what can I do to make me still seem like I'm that guy? So.
Yeah. All right, so let's fast forward. I'm going to be flipping back and forth doing this. But you bought this property for this gym. Mm-hmm. Value increases. Mm-hmm. Your bandwidth in your business decreases for a couple of reasons. The gym that you're renting was sold to somebody else. They jacked the rent up. Mm-hmm. End of the year, membership starts dropping. Mm-hmm. So you're paying a gym note, you're paying employees, and you have more rent, so you have less bandwidth.
Definitely.
You almost sold that land. Yeah,
I actually had 3 offers on the land, and they were some pretty nice offers. And to be honest with you, so commercial property is different. I'm glad you do that. Real estate, because commercial and real estate are so different. You can go and buy real estate at no money down if you got good credit, especially with the FHA loan, first-time buyers, all those good things. But they don't care about that in commercial. You got to put 35% down. I don't care who you are or what you got. I got the best credit in America. They don't care, 35% down. So on that $350,000, I had to put $121,000 down cash. So now.
So now you got a chunk of change that's out your bank account.
That's gone, almost all of it. You got to, I'll take it to zero to be a hero, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we drop that cash, man, we buy it, and then boom. We got a new lease that's jacked up. Now we got a note. Now we paying $8,000 a month in just rent and note. We're not even talking about no power bill. We're not talking about no employee salary. We're not talking about nothing. To the point where I took myself off the salary.
Wow.
To make sure I could still pay my employees.
And then what leaders do?
You got to do what you got to do.
Sacrifice for other people.
I was sacrificing.
And nobody could ever tell, because I would see you every day, and I had no clue of all of the things that you were juggling.
It was rough.
And battling.
It was rough, but we made it happen.
So here it is, okay, you buy it, you almost sell it, not just because your bandwidth decreases, but you also almost sell it because not only do you get a loan to buy the land, you're trying to get a loan to build the gym.
Correct.
So Tell us about that. Tell us about all the times you were told no.
So it came to a point where, okay, so you got to think. We put the $120,000 down, so now I only owe about $200,000 on this property, and I got people offering me $670,000 for the land. So I'm thinking, 670 minus 200, that's 470. That's more money I ever have cash in my account right now. It's hard to turn that down.
You thinking, let's do it.
Ooh, forget a gym. We go get it.
Hey, we can go do something else.
We can find something else. I might open up a McDonald's or something. I don't know. But that's where I was at with it. So, yeah, so I'm battling that. So now it's time to go to the banks. So now I go to bank number one. I'm not going to name the banks, but bank number one was like, gyms are not a good deal, which I couldn't understand because during COVID, you know, you got all these gyms closing. I saw different gyms closing everywhere, but they're not like my gym. And so, Bank 2, Mr. Cheney, we looked up your background. We want you to be out about another year or two. You want me to be out like out of prison? The bank, this the bank now. Yeah. They want me to be out of prison for another year. Like, so banks and all, they look at everything. They don't just look at your credit. They go to see what type of person you are, what kind of background. We need you to be out 1 more year. And then bank number 3 was just like, they came back and said, well, we saw you had a dip at the end of the year. We just don't think you're going to be financially stable for us to approve you for this loan.
So one said gyms are not good. The other one says you don't have a background to be able to get a loan like this. And then the other says at the end of the year you had a dip. So you got told no 3 times.
Told no 3 times.
For people who are watching this, who've ever been told no, I want to ask you this. What would you say to those people as to why it is they shouldn't give up?
Just keep the faith. I wrote this plan down for 5 years while I was locked up. I mean, tick for tack. I'm gonna be real honest. This plan had to happen because number one, when I wrote this plan down, it was within God's word that said to write it down and make it plain. So I used to always have people when I came home be like, man, that's it, man. You got great luck. You got good people in your corner. You got all this. I was like, no, I got a great God. Because number one, there's just no way I could have got to where I am today without, number one, God. But number two, I have great support. Great support. And I remember this. It was an old man. When I first got to prison, I ain't going to name his name, but he said, you can tell the kind of guys that are in here by who put money on their books. Because if you was a good person out in the street, people going to take care of you while you in. And so I never had a problem because even though I did the crimes I did, I always took care of the people that was around me. And when I came home, everyone took care of me. So I had great support. So a lot of times the recidivism rate you were talking about is at 75, 80% of people, especially black men that go to prison, they go back, is because they don't have support. They don't have nobody helping them. And even when I went to the halfway house, they tried to get me to go get a job at Walmart or Nikki's West, because that was like the 2 places that they send you at like $8 an hour. And I'm just like, that ain't what God told me. He ain't tell me I'm finna come out here and just be working no job. Although I do believe what you say. When you say do what you don't want to do until your dream pay for what you want to do. Yeah. But I knew I had wrote this plan down. It's got to work. Ain't no going backwards.
And you were single.
And I was single. Yeah.
So you ain't had nobody else.
I don't have no kids. Right. That's different. I ain't got no wife telling me you got to go get a job and pay for this. I've been doing this while you gone. But it's one thing I realized too. You know, we black men make that stigma. I'm gonna do these crimes to take care of my family. But the devil is a lie because when you get locked up, now your family got to take care of you. Wow. And now you ain't doing nothing to get taken care of yourself. Wow. So you could have just been doing right because even with you out of the place, God's still taking care of you and your family. That's
something. So basically, I heard you say something. People say, man, you got good luck on your side. You say, no, it's not good luck.
It's not at all.
It's a good God.
Right.
All right. So you in prison. Didn't want to go to prison.
At all.
Expected to get 2 years, end up getting 7 years. So while you were in prison, once upon a time, I heard you talk about what I call your faith fiasco.
Yeah.
How you get to the point to say it's not good luck, it's a good God, when literally this man right here, this man say he tried every single faith that there was. And the reason I think that's so significant, because a lot of times in the black church, we sing the songs, have you tried Jesus? He's all right.
Right.
To people who have only tried Jesus and never tried anybody else.
Right.
We sing the songs, can't nobody do me like Jesus. He's my friend, to the people who have only tried Jesus and don't know anything different.
Right.
We sing the songs, searched all over, can't find nobody.
Right.
Looked high and low, can't find nobody. Nobody greater than you. We sing those songs in the midst of all of the people who have only searched for Jesus because that's the way that they've been brought up in.
Right.
You were brought up to only search for Jesus, to only try Jesus.
Right.
But when you went in prison, you had a faith fiasco. Tell us about that.
So before I had to go to prison, like you said, I have a praying mother, a praying father. We was praying. I went to the altar plenty of times, face on the altar, crying, gave everything. And to go to sentencing and get more time than what I signed for, I felt like Jesus wasn't real to me.
Yeah. How can I do all that praying?
How can I do all that praying, fasting?
Expecting to get 2 years and end up getting 7.
I said,
this can't be real.
this can't be Jesus. This can't be a loving God like he say he is. So as far as I'm concerned, Christianity ain't what it is. And the difference between being out here saying you have a faith and in prison having a faith is people in prison ain't got nothing to do. They don't have anything to do but work on their faith in what they believe in. So you have so much dialogue and so much pushback on Christianity because in prison, its Muslim level is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And so while I'm in prison, I have
you got people who actually reading. They ain't
God,
just going to church saying I'm Christian, but I don't read my Bible.
They read every day. They ain't got nothing else to do but work out and read. So they read. And not only that, they're doing everything that it says to do, which is why you see these other religions on the corners coming to your house doing all these things. Christians, they don't do that.
Is that why it's hard for people to really come into the knowledge of the Christian faith? Because so many times we claim to be Christians, but we still live like we want to live.
That was the biggest problem for me before I turned into a Christian. I'm going to go back to the subject, is that I would see people that would say that they were Christian, but yet they still lived like I live. And so I would see you, oh, you're a Christian, but we was in the club together. We was throwing shots up together. We was throwing money. We was, whoremongering, sexing women, all of this, but you calling yourself Christian and you sitting on the front pew every Sunday. And so that was the biggest problem for me before I decided I'm going to be, in other words, why I want to go join your gang when we doing the same thing already. And so that was my biggest problem with that.
Yeah. So what happens when the same thing we see in the streets is the same thing we see in the seats?
You don't want to do, why be a part? It is no reason for me to be a part of it. But the difference is that religion don't care about what you did. That religion gonna come see you while you locked up. That religion gonna come see you in the hood. That religion gonna come grab you by your hand and tell you, come with us. That ain't right. Our religion, if it's a religion, I don't even believe in it, I believe in relationship, but religion is real, is that we ain't doing that. We saying, come here, when we need to be going, get them and pulling them in like these other religions. You can't, I guarantee you, I can't get 10 people right now to go stand on that corner in a suit and hand out no flyers for Christianity in that 100-degree weather.
Hey, especially when it's 98 degrees in the summertime.
Folks ain't going out there. They ain't going out there.
I'm sold out, but I don't know if I'm that sold out.
Look, you're going to be passed out.
Hey. from sold out to passed out.
You're going to be from sold out to passed out. But they ain't doing that, and that's the biggest difference. And so while I'm in prison, I'm getting an inkling from all of these different religions like, bro, you need to come kick it with us. So, like I said, I turned my back on God because I felt like he turned his back on me. I'm talking about Jesus now. And so, yeah, I'm praying 5 times a day.
So you with the Muslims?
I'm with them.
Okay.
I do, Jude. I'm doing peace offerings. I'm doing them all.
Doing peace offerings?
I'm doing everything that.
Chants?
All of them. All of it. If God would have came through the cloud, even if it looked like the clouds had spread it just a little bit while I'm doing one of them different things, I'd have been sold out. But nothing ever happened. I never felt nothing different.
So that reminds me of Elijah and the 450 prophets of Baal.
Right.
So when he challenges the 450 prophets, it's one of him. He's the true prophet. Right. It's 450 of them.
450.
He says, I tell you what, you go call on your guy Baal. Right. He says, I'm going to go call on my guy. We both going to dig a trench. Mm-hmm. Okay? And we're both going to call on our God. Right. And whichever God answers by fire, we know that's the one who's God. Right. So these 450 prophets, they dig the trench. They start calling on their God.
They cutting each other up and everything.
Cutting each other from morning until noon. Right. Elijah starts mocking them. He says, well,
what's going on?
Maybe he's asleep.
Yeah.
Maybe when he wake up, he'll answer. He started mocking them real good.
He even throw water on his.
So he put water on his.
Yeah.
He called on his God, and God came down.
Tried that thing up instantly.
Just like that. So basically, you were in prison calling on God.
I called on all of them.
Calling on all of them.
It didn't have them, dog.
Were they asleep?
I don't know where they at, but they ain't never come. And they didn't never come after 5.5, 6 years. I still ain't seen them.
Yeah, maybe they weren't real.
Maybe they're not real. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Yeah. And so what really happened was I had a inclination. I was actually in theology school at the time.
Theology school where?
In prison.
So from prison to the pulpit. So he's in prison, in theology school,
Right.
in prison.
Yeah. And the way that came about was so funny. So I was a cleaner for the lobby in the dorm that I stayed in. On this lady, I ain't gonna say her name, but she used to get on the horn every morning. Inmate 29324-001. That was my number. I never forget it because I heard it every day. They don't call you, but you don't have a name in prison. You have a number. Okay? 29324 is the number that I have because of where I was sentenced. I was the number 29,324 person in the state of Alabama to be sentenced, and 001 is because of Alabama. We're the number one state.
Wow.
So 29324. So whoever got sentenced after me is 29325.
Wow.
In the state of 001, which is Alabama. So I heard that number every morning, and she used to be like, come here. I get up there. You didn't clean behind the water fountain. And I'd be like, Miss such and such, it's so much dirt and stuff back there. That ain't never been cleaned since the prison been here. So how in the world you expect me to clean it? So I saw this little flyer in the dorm wall that said, come to Jesus, you can come to class. And the way to get out of doing work is to be in school. Wow. So I wasn't ever going to do no preaching or be in theology school. I just didn't want to do this work and hit my number every day. So I took her the paperwork. I said, I'm finna start school, so I'm not going to be able to do. She said, what school? I said, look, I'm in class. She said, you just trying to do that so you can get out of doing work. And I said, surely. So I started taking class. And at first, it was just real baby. You got to think, I grew up in the church, so it was like the 23rd Psalms. It was like the books of the Bible. Kind of boring at first. But then it started getting real where you can start taking college courses to get your degree. And so me running from doing work got my interest in learning more about God.
So you ran from work to the word.
Word to the word.
And literally messed around and changed your life.
Literally, and that's how I got back to Jesus.
So you also picked up something else in prison, which is why you went from prison to the pulpit to a booming for-profit LLC. You picked up CrossFit.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So I started doing this CrossFit because I was already kind of working out. You know, in prison you don't have a lot to do, but they had a really pretty nice workout center at the prison I was at first. And I started working out, but I wasn't doing CrossFit. I was just working out. But it was a guy that owned a CrossFit gym that was in prison because he did something with his taxes. And he ended up getting he didn't have long. I think he had 6 months. And so he was like, hey, man, you need to come work out with me and see if you can do this. You move pretty good. You work out pretty good. And so we started doing it. And he was killing me. But he didn't even look that good. I mean, he didn't even look like he worked out, but he was killing me. I'll never forget the workout we did. It was like pull-ups and thrusters, but he was done, and I was still trying to finish, and I was just like, this is crazy. So then I asked my mom, I need you to send me some CrossFit magazines so I can see how to do this stuff, because they didn't have no TV and no phones, computers and that. And so now I'm doing the movements, and we're still working out. And now I'm getting better, better, and better to when I started beating him. And so then I'm in theology school, and I'm doing CrossFit. So I came up with this little slogan called CrossFitting for Christ. And so I ended up getting shipped to Memphis, and they have a CrossFit center there. And so as I'm up there, now this prison that I'm at, the last year you're there, they let you go out and do jobs. And so I was able to get a sponsorship from a CrossFit organization to take me out on a CrossFit job interview, but really I just went out and worked out, and they shot a video, and it's still out there, actually went viral, so it's called From CrossFit to Christ. And I did that while I was in prison. I still had a year left.
So God gave you incredible favor.
Incredible.
While you were in prison.
First time anybody ever went out of prison and shot a video. Ever.
Went out of prison while you were still in prison.
A year left.
Legally. Shot a video.
The prison brought me to the CrossFit gym.
Wow.
And the CrossFit gym was excited. Like, we got a prisoner here doing CrossFit.
Man.
Still had a year left, yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So from prison to the pulpit to a booming for-profit. and you were writing down your business idea and your business plan while you were in prison. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, you were out of prison. Mm-hmm. What made you go right towards the plan?
I knew for a fact when I got out I wanted to train. And so when I first came home, no gym would hire me. And so I got to a place where I said, I'm going to just go talk to an owner and tell him, what does it take for me to be able to train at your gym and just bring people in your gym and you don't even have to pay me? He looked at me and said, if you can do that, you ain't never got to pay me. All they got to do is get a membership. And so I said, would you be willing to put that on paper? He put it on paper. I'm in the halfway house now. The halfway house just want a check every week for $250. And so the first week, I had like 5 people. Week 3, I had like 20 people. After about 4 weeks of being, I had like 40-some members at his gym. He making money. He ain't even paying me. But the members that I'm bringing to the gym has to have a membership, but they pay me directly. And so I ain't just paying the halfway house by the week. I'm just paying them by the whole month. So I'm at the halfway house making more money than the people that work at the halfway house.
Wow.
So they looking at me crazy.
Hey, won't God do it?
Yeah, he do it every time.
So you've always had an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, I had a business before I even got locked up, yes.
Yeah. So whether it's doing it for the devil or doing it for God, God never took your gift away, but now you're using it for God.
Using it for God, from Saul to Paul.
Yeah. So in closing, I want to talk about this. Back to your groundbreaking ceremony. Okay. I've already mentioned one moment that really touched me. The last moment that really touched me, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, Trey is really walking in his purpose. Because when you get to the end, you have the mayor of the city of Irondale there. You have city councilmen there. You have several pastors who are there. And you have several members of your gym who are there. Some who know Christ, some who ain't even thinking about God.
Right. And
literally, as you close, you offered Christ to everybody.
Right.
Why would you do that at the groundbreaking ceremony of a gym? Like, does church mix with that? Like, why would you do that?
Well, they have church and state, but I got church and Jesus. And so I've always said that the reason it's called I Am Love is because when God told Moses to go to Pharaoh and to tell him to let my people go, Moses asked God, you want me to go down here and tell this man that's supposed to be the king of the world to let the people go? And he said, well, if I'm going to do that, who shall I say sent me? He said, I am what I am. Tell him I am sent you. And so God was telling Moses at the time, I am whatever you need me to be, your protector, your provider, your healer, your financial. And so that's where the name came from. It's literally called God's Love Fitness because we're not just here to help you with your physicality. We're here to help you with your spirituality, with your mentality, emotional, social, all of this. And so I knew for a fact that when I got out of prison, I gave God my business. So why wouldn't I offer the reason why the business has the name to the people that's standing in front of the business, why it has that name?
Man, that's a blessing because it's not just something you did on that day, but it came so easy and so natural to you because you always do it. Right. Literally, since I've been going to your gym, on the low end, 30 people who were not at this church are now at this church.
Correct.
On the high end, it's got to be at least 45 and growing.
Probably more than that after the night.
Probably more than that after the night.
Definitely.
Hey, there you have it, people. This is Trey Emmanuel Chaney. He is the owner of I Am Love Fitness. God's doing an amazing work inside of his life, and I believe that God can do an amazing work inside of your life if you keep God first. To everybody who's tried Jesus, listen, if you try Jesus, Jesus is real. Everybody else is a lie. He is a testimony of that. In closing, Trey Chaney, tell everybody, look into that camera, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with us at our website, www.iamlovefitness.com. You can give us a call, 205-538-7464. You can email us at iamlovestudios@gmail.com. Or you can just go to our Facebook, I Am Love Fitness Training Center, or on Instagram at I Am Love Studios. or you can just find me, look me up, hit me up. I ain't that hard to find.
I ain't hard to find.
I ain't hard to find.
You sound like my man.
Prime time.
I ain't hard to find.
And we coming.
That's what's up. Great big God bless you to each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Unconventional Conversations. I pray that you have been blessed, inspired, fueled, and re-energized. Until next time, keep Jesus lifted. See you soon. Peace.